So if we could turn to emotional eating, and what I'd like to do is take a few moments and just look at some of the phrases here and see if that fits any of your habits or some of the things that we have to deal with. And let me tell you, emotions can cause a lot of issues when it comes to eating. I can remember when I was a young boy growing up, I fell down, I skinned my knees, and the first thing my mother would do would be what? Give me a chocolate chip cookie. Today, my biggest addiction or my biggest thing that I have to deal with is chocolate chip cookies. All right, so how do we deal with these emotions? Do you sometimes put food in your mouth before you realize what you've done? Are any of us guilty of that? Mm-hmm. We get so caught up in our day's work, on the road, running, our lifestyles, taking care of the kids, and we just grab and put the first thing in our mouth. We just took a few moments to do what? To make sure what we were putting in our mouth was what? We took a few moments to read the labels, to slow down, to try to make sure that what we were doing, to be more aware of what we were doing.
Well, you do it, and then later you regret that you've done it, and you feel badly about it.
Yeah. Why do you feel badly about it?
Because you know that it's not going to lead to good health.
You ever been in a situation you've gotten angry at something? How else would you deal with it?
Pray.
Pray, okay.
After taking it to God, if I'm still upset, then I take it to the person. But I take it to God first.
And by taking it to Him first, what does that do?
Well, sometimes it doesn't help to take it to the person. Sometimes it would have made it worse. Sometimes it takes care of it by taking it to God. And so if it takes care of it, then I don't need to confront the person. And sometimes that would have made the relationship worse, or it would have made the problem worse. But it doesn't, because you avoid that step by taking it to God first.
What better way of dealing with an addiction, and in this case, food, than taking it to the Bible or the good book first? Years ago, I remember when they were talking about trying to quit smoking, they said when you want to smoke a cigarette, kiss someone. All right. Well,
hopefully before than after.
I'll tell you. Yeah, that's right. There you go. Well, I'm just going to make a resolution tonight. When I'm thinking about putting something in my mouth now, I'm going to kiss my honey over here. Okay? But, you know, just try to do something different, you know.
Being raised in the country, it's awesome because one thing about it is there's no noise. You get to come and go as you want. And that's one thing that growing up, it was just really relaxed. And that's one thing I really enjoyed, was no fast pace. You know, it's just a great place to grow up. If it wasn't fried, we weren't going to eat it. We hunted a lot, and you know, that's one thing in the South. That's what we do. We hunt for our food, and we had a garden that we minded and tended to. And being the youngest of four, I got pretty much a little bit less than everybody else, just because they were all bigger than me. So 2 older sisters and an older brother. Me being the youngest, I was always small as a kid too. When I got to college and figured out that pizza places delivered, that is when I started gaining my weight. You know, when I graduated high school in 1989, I weighed 125 pounds. I was little, tiny guy. And my joke is always that they used me as the right goalpost in the football game. I got to work out a little bit more when I went to school, so I sort of beefed up a little bit and played a lot of intramural football, basketball, and that was really a great time. And college life, they always talk about the college 15 or college 20. I think I gained 40 pounds when I was in college, probably even more than that, just because we ate constantly. I just ate more than, you know, we would eat 2 pizzas. You know, you would eat a whole pizza by yourself and your roommate would eat one. And you would drink Cokes like they were going out of style. And that's pretty much what I'm known for, is I can drink a Coke. I never really drank water, even growing up. There was always sweet tea in the refrigerator, always Cokes available. And that's one thing that got me to where I was overweight, was sodas. I drank sodas. I would even go to bed at night and have sodas on my nightstand, waiting for me to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and drink a Coke. I wanted that Coke. I was addicted 2 sodas. I didn't care what kind it was. I would drink it. I would drink 18 to 24 sodas a day. A day. Yes, I would drink a case of Coke or whatever kind of soda was around a day. And that was my vice. I had to have it. That is the point where I realized that I had a weight problem, was after I started drinking that many sodas. One thing that they say about caffeine is it pumps you up. Well, it pumped me up for about 4 minutes, and then I was ready for another Coke. I needed that drive, that motivator in my life, because if not, I was just going to sit around, and it was just ridiculous what it did to my body. My highest, I was around 280. Working in the restaurant industry, I got free food, and the best places are pizza places, hamburger places. I'd get to eat for free at those places, and I calculated it when I started Bod4God that the last 3 days before I had my aha moment, I had consumed somewhere around 6,000 to 8,000 calories each day those last 3 days. I never ate breakfast, never drank water. It was a pretty sad time in my life. My aha moment is an interesting thing because my wife Audra and I have 2 beautiful boys, Bradley and Brody. And Bradley was 4 years old at the time and was going to pre-K at Glenrose, and the school was pretty much right across the road from us. And they had a helicopter from the National Guard land at the school. They had a fire truck. They had a police car. They had an ambulance there. And they got to talk to those people and sort of visit it. And when he got home, he told me about it. He was so excited, Bradley was. And I said, being the father, I said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, not, I want to be a good father, good guy, good American, good human being. His words changed my life. He said, I want to be fat like you. You talk about a slap in the face? That was hard. My testimony has a title. It's Out of the Mouth of Babes. One thing that we learn from the Bible is that God uses children to get to you. He used Bradley to change my life. But one thing is, I love that boy now because he was honest with his father. He could have lied and said, Dad, I just want to be a good golfer like you. But he didn't. He was honest. But God gave him those words to change my life, my family, and my church through Bod4God. And it's just an awesome thing.
Wow. Can you believe that testimony about drinking up to 24 sodas every day? Thank you, Greg, for sharing your incredible story and your desire to have a Bod4God. It's a great example of why Steve tells us to eat less and exercise more. Keep this week's scripture close to you. Jesus spoke to his disciples in Matthew 16:24 through 25. If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Keep developing your small steps for life. We hope to see you next week as we dive into week number 3 to learn about dedication.